It's all good. This is Ian from the Renaissance Mountain Man coming at you with day 26, practice of gratitude. We're getting towards the end here of the daily practice of gratitude, and today we're going to talk about making mistakes. Um, I am certainly a person that I used to be a person, and from time to time, I'm a person that I don't like making mistakes, and that's like most people, but just think about the times where you're so mistake you're adverse to making mistakes. You don't go out there and take chances, and I mean chances that help you grow as a person. And in this chapter, when I read the chapter, it talked about as kids, if you're a parent or if you're a mentor or if you're someone in a position of, you're an adult and you're watching a kid and you watch kids make mistakes and you see them just go back at it. If they fall and they're trying to learn how to, ride a skateboard, they are very determined. And as we get older, when we look at making mistakes, sometimes we're so adverse, we forget that the journey it takes to, that comes with learning from your mistakes. Now, in this chapter, what they recommend you do is to choose one mistake that you've made in your life and to really sit down and think about that mistake, but don't think about it as, what, I wish I wasn't in that relationship, or I wish I had never trusted that person who I thought was my best friend. What can you learn from that? And because this is gratitude, there's a twist. So you take that one thing, you take that. Let's talk about something that everyone can relate to, and that's relationships. I know there's been many relationships where I'm like, why was I in that relationship, or why me? But if you flip the script and you think about it, you say, I was in that relationship because that was a turning point in my life, because it helped me rediscover my self-worth. If unfortunately you were in an abusive relationship, you know that when you see those red flags, that because you had that experience, unfortunately, or hopefully it wasn't something very abusive, but if it was, that you know that to pay attention to those red flags or anything. Now, one of the examples it gives in the book is about being pulled over by a cop for a speeding ticket. And when you think about it, the first thing that comes to mind is like, that cop, he was hiding, he was doing something nefarious, he was just trying to set me up. And as opposed to that, that officer, he or she is doing a certain job. They post a speed limit because they want to keep people safe on the roads. Or there might be a curve and you're going 55 when the curve says 35, and they pull you over, and it's because they're looking out for your safety. Now, I admit, I know you're saying, you're like, I can't afford a $200 speeding ticket or a $300 this or that and the other, and I understand. But just think, that person, that cop pulling you over, has made you think about your safety, made you think about texting and driving. I'm guilty of that from time to time. I try to set up my GPS and I want to look at it and I see a message and I'm like, okay. And I know it drives my wife crazy when I do that. So today, pick one mistake that you have been beating yourself up over, and write down a list of 10 things of why, the good things that have happened out of that mistake. It could be anything. It could be, you know, um, maybe you woke up late, and maybe that was because you didn't, properly set your alarm clock, or if you're a person that requires 2 or 3 different alarm clocks, do that preparation. So there is a paying attention to your mistakes helps you identify the things that you probably haven't been paying attention to. Sometimes you make the same mistake over and over again because life is trying to teach you an important lesson and you haven't listened. So listen to that. So write down, before I go, I want to read this because I want to make sure I got this right. So, as I said, choose one mistake you made in your life. Find a total of 10 blessings you're grateful for as a result of making that mistake, and then write them down. To help find blessings, you can ask yourself the questions: what did I learn from the mistake? And what are good things that came out from the mistake? So that's your homework. If you've been following, and as always, you fall in the day. If you gotten to this point, you have your magic rock that you end your day and you talk about the blessings to yourself. You don't have to broadcast to everybody, but I'm just doing it here in this format. So just want to reiterate, magically transform mistakes into blessings. You know, how many times have someone said that? Turning mistakes into blessings. And it can be done. And if you practice this, you start looking at life differently than you have before. All right. Thanks for joining me. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and leave some comments below if you find this video is of value. And with that, thank you for joining me, and I will see you shortly. Peace.